Your life is a series of intelligent rhythms, and today you are choosing the rhythm of return. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this space of self-realization, self-mastery, and profound self-love. We are navigating the complexities of narcissistic dynamics as students of our own resilience. This is where we transform lived experience into embodied authority. To anchor this journey, I am opening the doors to the Narc Talks workshop. This is our foundational education, a structured physiological roadmap to move you out of the noise and back into the steady signature of your truth. Let's begin the reading. So where we left off last time, guys, was at mountain pose. So this is part 2 of today's topic, which is how to spot a narcissist. The conversation tells what emerges in dialogue. Conversation is one of the richest sources of early diagnostic information available because of the specific patterns that emerge in how they speak, listen, receive, and respond. The conversation tells described here are observable in ordinary exchanges and require no special knowledge to notice. They require only the willingness to hold observations rather than immediately explaining them away. How they speak about others. The all-villain X, one of the most consistent and diagnostically reliable conversation tells, is the pattern of how a person speaks about former partners. Some negativity about past relationships is ordinary and expected. Breakups are painful, and most people have grievances. The tell is the totality, when every former partner is described as crazy, abusive, impossible, or fundamentally flawed, with no acknowledgement of complexity, mutual responsibility, or the speaker's own role in the dynamic. It communicates something specific about how this person will eventually speak about you if the relationship ends. It also communicates something about the capacity for genuine accountability. A person who has been in multiple significant relationships and found themselves blameless in all of them has not developed the reflective capacity that genuine intimacy requires. The absent empathy for others' suffering. Pay close attention to how a person responds when the conversation turns to the other people's pain. News events, mutual acquaintances going through difficulty, stories about suffering that do not involve the speaker. Does genuine empathy arrive? Is there a quality of being moved, of something registering? Or is there a flatness, a quick redirect, a pivot toward how the topic connects to the speaker's own experience? Or a kind of performed sympathy that has the shape of empathy without the felt quality? The difference between genuine empathy and performed empathy is one of the more subtle tells available. It requires some familiarity with what genuine emotional attunement looks and sounds like, but it is consistently present and consistently revealing. The one-up. When you share an experience, a difficulty, an achievement, a feeling, observe what happens next. In a genuinely mutual conversation, your experience is received and dwelt with for at least a moment before the other person contributes their own. In conversations with narcissistic personalities, a characteristic pattern emerges. Your experience functions as a launching pad for theirs. Your difficult week becomes the prompt for the far more difficult week they experienced. Your achievement becomes the context for the introduction of a greater achievement. Your feeling becomes the bridge to their more intense version of the same feeling. This one-upping is rarely aggressive. It often feels natural in the moment, but the cumulative pattern observed across multiple exchanges reveals the fundamental directionality of the conversational attention. The name drop and the status architecture. Many narcissistic personalities carry a consistent background architecture of status signaling. The names dropped, the accomplishments referenced, the affiliations mentioned, the subtle positioning of the self within a hierarchy that establishes their particular standing. This is often done with apparent casualness and sometimes with apparent self-deprecation that makes the status information land while seeming unconcerned with it. The tell is less any single instance of status reference and more the pattern. The conversation consistently contains information about where this person stands relative to others, what they have achieved, who knows them, and what distinguishes them from ordinary people. The question that does not wait for the answer. A specific and telling conversational behavior is the question asked primarily as a social gesture rather than as a genuine expression of curiosity. The question is offered, the answer begins, and before it is fully received, the conversation has moved on, either to the speaker's own related experience or to another topic entirely. This pattern observed across multiple conversations reveals something important. The curiosity is performed rather than genuine. Questions function as the social mechanics of appearing interested rather than as the expression of actual interest in the other person's inner life. None of these tells is catastrophic in isolation. The one-up happens in the conversations of people who are simply excited to connect. The negative story about an ex happens in the aftermath of genuine pain. The question that moves too quickly happens when someone is nervous. What is diagnostic is the pattern across multiple contexts and multiple conversations, the consistent directionality, the absence of genuine curiosity, the systematic positioning of the self at the center of every exchange. One tell is a moment, a pattern is a map. How they receive attention and its withdrawal. The response to praise. Observe how a person receives a genuine compliment. Secure people receive compliments with some grace, perhaps some warmth, perhaps some deflection, but with a quality of ease. The narcissistic personality's response to praise often has a distinctive quality. It is received with an eagerness that is slightly more intense than the situation calls for, as if it was needed rather than simply appreciated. Some narcissistic personalities go the opposite direction, deflecting praise with exaggerated modesty in a way that is itself a bid for more. The tell in both cases is the quality of the reception. The compliment is being metabolized as supply rather than simply enjoyed as connection. What happens when attention shifts away? This is one of the most revealing observational opportunities in any early encounter. What happens to this person's energy and engagement when the conversational attention moves away from them? When someone else in the group becomes the focus? When you become absorbed in something that does not involve them? When the room's interest shifts to another person or topic? Secure people can be genuinely interested in what interests others. The narcissistic personality often shows a characteristic response to the withdrawal of attention, a recapturing bid, a story, an observation, a performance that redirects the attention back. Observed once it is inconclusive. Observed consistently, it is revealing. Yoga break. Noticing without judgment. These poses build the capacity for clear, grounded, non-reactive observation, seeing what is present without the need to immediately categorize it, fix it, or soften it into something more comfortable. I'm going to start with a supported seated twist. Find a comfortable place on the floor. Sit upright, Cross the right knee over the left leg, right foot flat on the floor. Place the left elbow to the outside of the right knee and twist gently, placing the right hand behind for support. This is the observer's posture, turned slightly sideways, seeing from a different angle, the spine long and the gaze steady. Look over your shoulder. Breathe into the twist without forcing it deeper. The practice is precise, patient observation, not trying to see everything at once, but turning toward what is present and letting the seeing be slow and clear. Hold for 8 breaths. Then switch sides. Now cross the left knee over the right leg, left foot flat on the floor. Place the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and twist gently, placing the left hand behind for support. Turned slightly sideways, seeing from a different angle, the spine long and the gaze steady, looking over the shoulder. Breathe into the twist without forcing it deeper. Hold for 8 breaths. The intention set here is, I observe clearly and calmly. I notice what is present without the need to immediately decide what it means. Balancing half moon. Steady amid complexity. From standing, shift your weight to the right foot. Bring the right hand to the floor or a block and lift the left leg to hip height. Extend the left arm toward the ceiling and open the chest fully, finding a steady gaze point. This is a balance pose that requires the simultaneous management of multiple inputs: the grounded foot, the lifted leg, the extended arm, the stable gaze. It mirrors the complexity of early encounter discernment, holding multiple observations simultaneously without losing center. Every wobble is returned to with steadiness. Hold for 8 breaths. And then switch sides. So from standing, shift weight to the left foot. Bring the left hand to the floor or a block. And lift the right leg to hip height. Extend the right arm toward the ceiling and open the chest fully, finding a steady gaze point. Remember, this is a balanced pose that requires the simultaneous management of multiple inputs: the grounded foot, the lifted leg, the extended arm, the stable gaze. And it mirrors the complexity of early encounter discernment, holding multiple observations simultaneously without losing center. Every wobble is returned to with steadiness. Hold for 8 breaths. The intention set here is, I hold complexity without losing my center. I am steady and I am seeing clearly.